the same price, and the quantity produced is 25. But now, after in international trade, the price is 9. The price rising from 7 to 9, because 9 is the world price. Because 9 is the world price. And the quantity demanded by substitute in 9 in domestic demand. This means the consumption is decreased in quantity B because it's exported. And production in country A, in country B increase because the prices rise from 7 to 9. The quantity produced is increased from 25 to 27 as follows. By substitute in domestic supply in country B, 18 plus 9, 73. The difference between 23 and 27 equal 4. What's the meaning of equal 4? 4 is the quantity exported from country B to country A. From country B to country A. The difference between domestic demand, and production, the difference for this is the exporter to country A. This is algebraic. Graphically, before trade, demand and supply, 25 and 7, but after trade, demand, local demand, additional foreign demand to get gross demand by shift the demand to right as follows. The gross demand equal 45 minus 2b. The gross demand intersect the domestic supply and the quantity produced equal 27. And the price is 9, world price. But the domestic demand and consumption equal 23. The difference between 23 and 27 is 4 equal exporter quantity. This is the exporter country, the effect in the exporter country. We can add the same, explain the international trade effect in importer country algebraically and graphically as follows. Explain the international trade in importer country algebraically and graphically. Importer trade country A. In country A, the supply function is domestic and foreign supply. The foreign supply or international supply is the exporter function. This means the gross supply in importer country, we can get that by additional the export function and domestic supply. We can get the gross supply in country A and equalize the gross supply with the domestic demand to get the world price and determine the effect in demand and supply and production and consumption as follows. Firstly, get the gross supply in country by addition by adding the local supply function and export function. Because supply, because export function treated as supply function. Then supply domestic and foreign equal 6 plus B minus 5 plus B. The gross saving in supply the gross saving in country A is 1 plus 2B. By equalize the domestic demand and gross supply, we can get the world price prevailing in country A as follows. D equal domestic and the foreign 28 plus B equal gross supply 1 plus B, then 3 E equal 27, then B equal 9. This is the world price. This means the country A before trade it has 11 or price equal 11, but after international trade the price lowering from 11 to 9. The effect in local produce by substitute in local demand, by substitute in local supply, 6 plus 9, then the local produce equal 15, but before trade equal 70. This means the local production is decreased from 17 to 15. But the consumption, the local consumption or gross consumption in this country is increased before trade, because the price lowering from 11 to 9. We can get this by substitute in gross supply, and in local demand. In gross supply, the local consumption equal equal 19. This means the consumption before trade is equal 17, but the consumption after trade equal 19. This means the consumption increased from 17 to 19, and the production in country is decreased from 17 to 15. This means the difference between local production and local consumption is 4. What's the meaning of 4? The import country, the import quantity from country A, from country B. We can illustrate that by graphic, by shift the domestic supply to right, graphically. This is a demand, but graphically, before trade, 17 and 11, but after trade, the supply function, local supply, before trade, 6 plus B, but after trade, domestic and foreign, equal 1 plus 2B. The gross supply intersects the demand, local demand, at 19, and the price not 11 but lowering to world price. equal 9. At equal 9, the producer in country A not produce 17 but not 15. This means the difference between local production and local consumption is 4. And 4 equal the quantity import. The quantity import from country B. فاضل 10. احنا ابتدينا ان كنا كام؟